must become the basis of what is called system. You know, we call ourselves extremely knowledgeable. We know this, we know that, and when we actually are faced with a particular task, our hands get frozen, we get all kinds of butterflies in our stomach. We're not able to use that to the proper advantage unless it's supported by ground, supported by confidence, supported by a larger vision, and that will come to you only through what we describe as imagination, vision, and imagination. And now let me bring in a bit of a spirituality. You know, the word yoga is now talked everywhere. It's also, many years ago, it was adopted by the English lexicon, Oxford Dictionary, all talks about yoga. When you type yoga, you don't get red lines in the computer. So it's all accepted. And the way it's defined is, what I'm trying to make a distinction between how it has come to us and how our original this thing is, the kind of disconnect that we have from our original basis. First thing first, yoga has become perhaps popular in our country. We had a bit of a few yogis going around here teaching yoga, but much of it came from the West. We started taking to it in a more organized manner, more larger manner, because it became fashionable in streets of Los Angeles and Hollywood guys and Vikram Chaudhary and people of this kind. And first thing they said, they pronounce it in a wrong way. They either call it yoga. You know, there's a tendency amongst English people to add name to everything. Rama, Krishna, yoga. That's wrong pronunciation. So I mean, the very beginning they've gone wrong. What is yoga? That's the correct. Anyway, that's only again grammar. But the classical definition of yoga, which is practice worldwide, which is claimed to be practice, is what was propounded by a gentleman called Maharshi Patanjali. You know, this is what is called beautiful Yoga Sutras. There are 195 Yoga Sutras. And I know I would strongly think it might be boring to begin with. But you know, if some of you are able to get hold of that, I'd recommend to get a few copies in the library. And commentary by Swami Vivekananda on Yoga Sutra by Patanjali. That defines the Raj Yoga that we're all fashionable these days. Which primarily, when you think about yoga, you think about head down, legs up, jumping away, doing this, all kinds of asanas. But actually speaking, yoga in its original form, which has its origin and genesis in our country, had very little physical component. It again is, if you go back to this part, it is 90% intellectual, 90% physical, 90% psychological, and only 10% which remains is, the first definition of yoga in that is, unfortunately, I would say that the criteria of success in this country is that, or as a person who is respected in this country, is a man who can speak English very fluently. That's one of the criteria, apart from the money part, which is a great pity. But unfortunately, since this is a language of commerce, gives you a job, so we all go after it. But don't forget, as a language I have no problem, but don't forget we have something our own language, which will probably provide you much richer experience, much richer insight into our value system. Sanskrit is far away, but even Hindi, that's something that's part of our values, that's part of the sanskar which comes to us automatically. So I'm not denying anything English, you all have to do that. There's a gentleman who went to America, and he came back and he said, now I know USA is why it's so developed. Now, it's a kind of a concept that we had. The person who speaks English must be educated, highly educated, and not really speaking. You look at this English spoken by some of the guys, whereas at University of Leeds in Yorkshire, the kind of English those people spoke with horrible. No more native grammars at all. But anyway, but they spoke English.
Any one example?
What?
The kind of English he is speaking.
You know, in Yorkshire, well, you know, they speak in a very sing-song kind of fashion. Like, for example, very simple. Normally we call it pop. They would call it poops. I went to a poop by a goose. I rode a goose and went to a poop. So, apart from, so both in terms of phonetics as well as the grammar part, that is the area is thought. The point that I am trying to make is that yoga, coming to yoga is the 4 words in it, and I think if basic knowledge of Hindi will tell us what exactly is the meaning. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is prevention of vritti, thought waves in our mind. Something that exercise that we did once. First thing that we did once. If you were able to control these thoughts and thereby resulting in the focus to your work at hand, you become a yogi. You don't need in very extensive exercise 2 hours and be a yogi. And Bhagavad Gita's biggest message is to be become a yogi, which really means doesn't mean necessarily spiritual practices. You know, classic definition in yoga, what I'm saying is yoga karmasu possible. Excellence in your field of work is yoga. Excellence in your field of work is karma. Now let me very briefly tell you about the concept of karma yoga. You know, this is one particular subject which is likely to create a lot of controversy, but nevertheless I want to demonstrate. Anybody of you familiar with the game of golf? Does anybody play golf? Does anybody play golf? Anybody familiar with it? Okay, why don't you come here? You stand in front of everybody and just pretend that you are hitting the ball. Take a stance, take your time and take a stance, and then your hand here, easy. Please watch him well. Did you see his action? You see what he did was, he was like this and his eyes were like this. The ball is supposed to be actually here. But maybe I'll give him the benefit of doubt that he's looking ball in there. But ball should be here. But he's looking there. And he did this and like this. That's what we did. Yeah, that's what we did. Yes. Okay. No, don't worry about it. You want to play a game of golf, come with me. We'll play an actual game. But I just wanted an illustration for all the benefit of all.